2018, my very first Social Proof podcast interview was this young lady, Melissa Mitchell. People say that creatives don't make money, and people who make money aren't all that creative. But Melissa Mitchell has done both. She has taken the art, the expression, the life, the emotions, all the things that art creates, and has turned it into an empire. Her art is now in Foot Lockers across the country. Melissa landed a 100 Foot Locker store deal.
I had to transition from feeling like I was an artist and realize that I was a movement. I had to realize that I was an entrepreneur, I was a businesswoman, that art just happened to be my mode of transportation.
Yeah. Let's talk about her deal with Ford, where she keeps getting these vehicles from Ford for absolutely free.
So I sold people me. I sold people hope, and I sold them my story.
2014, this young lady started as an artist, and you would not believe where this journey has taken her. This thing has exploded. She had the #1 selling panty and bra combination that Spanx has ever had. I know that a relation with Sarah Blakely is thriving. The art of a Black woman on a multi-billion-dollar company, this is incredible.
The brands love the genius behind the colors, but they love that I am able to connect with people on a very intrinsic way.
Through the death of her father and her grandma, that is the thing that birthed greatness.
I like to say I'm an artist by mistake. One day during a snowstorm.
In an area called the Sun Belt in a city known as Hotlanta, ice caused a meltdown. The winter storm that brought snow and ice to the south yesterday stranded thousands, bumper to bumper, hour after hour, on roads so slippery, cars and trucks could not get traction.
2014, picking up that brush, God was like, I'm gonna blow your mind. And it was beyond anything that I could ever imagine.
You have to tune into this episode. If you are creative, if you have an idea, if you are losing motivation, you're losing inspiration, you're losing sight of the dream, this is the episode you need to watch in its entirety. Enjoy. Let's do this. All right, everybody good? Phones on silent? Good.
Yes, just in case.
Do you need tissue?
Probably.
I'm like plan on crying now?
I'm just overwhelmed, with gratitude.
I remember one time
Bruh.
you were talking and you said like the sun was like it was like going down. You could see it in the distance, and you started crying.
I'm tearing up now. Yeah, the level of what I thought God was gonna do, and He superseded that. From me just randomly touching a paintbrush in a box in the garage, and I built a literal empire where I'm able to buy my mom a car, buy my own house, I've manifested 3 car deals, free cars, since I've sat in this chair.
I remember you did the one.
Ford.
Oh
I've
my
got one
gosh,
from Cadillac,
yes.
and now about to be Toyota.
Why do these people keep giving you cars?
Look at me.
Look at you. I mean, that is
no,
quite
really.
an answer.
The lady was like, "This car looks like you. We've tried to find someone that looked like this car." And you look like this car.
Okay, so first off, the interview started already. But this is Melissa Mitchell, and this was episode #1 of the Social Proof podcast. She was the very first episode ever, so we can give that a round of applause. And she's back. That was 2018.
September 20th. I just saw it on the...
September 20th, 2018.
It's crazy.
Man.
My grandmother had just died. And I was so full of what is my life gonna be? Yeah. I've watched 3 of the most important people in my life get zipped up in a bag. And as emotional as that was, I'm like, everybody's crying. Their obituaries are 2 pages long. Am I gonna just be known for the girl who worked in IT for the government? Is that it? And I think every time I suffered a loss, of course that grief was it was almost like somebody put gas back in my tank. Cause I'm like, I gotta rush to that dash. If it's 1982 to what? That dash had to get some gas to it. And so I'm very emotional all the time because I'm not only am I the culmination of prayers, I'm culmination of lives that have been ended. And so I got more life because their lives ended. So now I'm okay, grandma died at 68, another died at 79, my dad died at 53. So if I'm 41 right now, what is my dash gonna look like? So when you're living with that in the back of your mind, so people live to live. I'm living to die peacefully, but also to die colorfully and to die full of memory. And so every time I walk in a room, I fill it up with me. So when I leave it, they're like, well, who is that girl? Like, what's her story, right? And so as soon as I walked in, everybody's like, whoa. And I was like, it worked. It did. But it's also when I leave, my spirit will linger. And that's what I want to leave the earth with. I want to leave a lingering, right? And so I didn't know what that would look like. So 2014, picking up that brush, God was like, I'm gonna blow your mind. And it was beyond anything that I could ever imagine. And
you weren't like trained as an artist.
No.
Right? It's just picking up a brush, stroke here, this looks good. And
make it pretty.
Your abstract style just continued to evolve.
Yeah.
And do you still work in IT?
You said what?
You still working in IT?
Oh, no, I walked out of there.
I'm just double checking.
Okay, no, I walked out.
Because last time you were here, you did have a job, and we would talk a lot about kind of the job situation, and just to see almost 5 years later how things have blossomed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is incredible.
Yeah.
So tell, for those that don't know, introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay, I'm Melissa A. Mitchell. I have to say the A to respect my daddy because we all have his same initials. And so just to do a small rewind, 2014, pick up a brush during that infamous snowstorm. It was right before Valentine's Day, and I was semi-depressed because I didn't have a man, but I still felt excited because I was locked in the house. And somebody like me that's a busy bee, like, I can't leave the house, the electricity going out. And I'm like, all these boxes, so I'm cleaning up. And literally a paintbrush falls out. It's like, oh, like, God, So it falls out the box, pick it up. And at the time I'm living at home. So I'm already feeling I ain't got no man. I'm living at home. I work in this job. I'm literally a robot like everybody at work who hates their job. At least I got a check. And so pick up that brush and I start chronicling it on social media. And that was when I had, I think, 200 followers. Mm-hmm. And we talked about that. Yep. And 200 folks was like, girl, you got it going on. I was like, thanks, y'all, whatever, But then somebody sent me $20. I said, oh, I think I'm an artist. And so I do that 30 or 40 times. And I was able to, my first fruit offering was to pay my mom's mortgage. So I accumulated all my sales. And I said, Mom, I don't know where this is going, but I need to sow in good ground. So I give her my first big check. That was like $300, that was a lot of money because again, this is just something I'm doing because I'm still collecting my little check from the government. So I'm fine, Then I was like, I feel good doing this. I'm going to therapy, and then also painting. And then I could feel my dad in the room. And he's been gone at that point for 4 or 5 years. And I was like, wait a minute, this might be like I'm channeling something. And so I turned my entrepreneur hat on, get my LLC, get my website, do all these different things, and get the bright idea that I need to start wearing my art because folk weren't buying it like they were on the internet in 2014. Yeah. And so I started wearing it. And then I realized that people were remembering what I was wearing more than who I was. And so if
good thing or bad thing?
That's good because I'm selling it now, right? Yeah. So they're like, well, those pants you had on, I'm literally, last week, I'm a gardener. I'm in Home Depot, bending over, get some soil. They say, hey, I was like, I don't do, I was like, okay. So she's trying to get my attention because I had on a pair of my leggings. She said, I just need to know where you got these pants from. I don't even need to know your name, but I have my QR code on my watch. So she went to my website and bought the pants while we're in the middle of Home Depot. And when moments like that happen, I said, it may not make sense to everybody else, but it may make sense to one person. And that one person turned into millions. Wow. Of course. And so fast forward to 2023, God has blown my mind.
Yeah, I've seen you do collaborations with Spanx.
Yes.
I saw you do collaborations with Ford.
Yes.
So how did your very first sponsorship come? Because as an artist, you think of an artist, you think, okay, well, you sell painting. And there's always this other word that's associated with artists, which is starving.
And I'm not starving, clearly.
Eating good out here.
Eating real good since last time. Yeah.
So when you picked up the paintbrush, and obviously, people start paying, when did you start seeing yourself as an artist? I
think for me, I had to get beyond validation because whether people buy it or not, you still have to feel like you're a star.
Yeah.
And I had to transition from feeling like I was an artist and realize that I was a movement. I had to realize that I was an entrepreneur. I was a businesswoman, that art just happened to be my mode of transportation. Yeah. My dad's biggest motivators were drug dealers in the neighborhood. He said their drive and their hunger is like nothing I've ever seen. You just got to change their product. So I'm a dope girl selling art, right? So I had to channel that, like, oh, that hustle, like, you get them pulled in with the eyes, well, by the way, this $500. You're like, okay, let me find a way to buy it from you. And so I always remember that it's not about so much the product, it's about you selling the product. So I sold people me. I sold people hope, and I sold them my story. And so all along, the brands love the genius behind the colors, but they love that I am able to connect with people on a very intrinsic way. Like, I'm not trying to say, ooh, one day you're going to grow up and be just like me. No, you're going to grow up and be just like you. Yeah. And that's why I avoid a lot of these conferences that tell people, do 1, 2, 3, you're going to be just like me. Mm-hmm. Like, no, you ain't going to be like me, because this is what God gave me. Sure. And so I teach people to empower themselves. And so I think people fall in love with me and my spirit. And those 1 or 2 followers that follow you on IG are usually ones that are decision makers for companies. So we picked up in 2018 where I won the Spanx contest. Little did I know that.
What was the Spanx contest?
The Spanx contest was where everyone around the world had to send in 3 designs to possibly have their own bra and underwear combination. It was called the Illuminate Her contest. I submitted, computer crashed, had my sister to submit, her computer crashes. So I'm like, well, child, they don't want me to win. Wow. I'm done with it. So I get a DM on my lunch break at work. I'm like, why is Spanx DM? I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, send y'all $9.95. I'll get, I'm thinking it's a joke. She's like, no, this is so-and-so. I'm the VP of marketing. You're our top candidate. We've been trying to reach Melissa Mitchell because it was going to spam, because of course, even my computer think it was a joke. Oh. And I'm like, I said, wait a minute, no, this is me. So I called her. I was like, hey, can I call? I'm calling the office now. She says, yeah, you're the top candidate. You're now in a global contest. So, I'm a HBCU graduate. I said, oh, I'm going to win. So I'm already preparing what I'm going to wear to the show. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm going to win this. So long story short, I win. Number 1 selling bra and panty combo. I believe it's sold out now, because that was 4 years ago. Wow. So Sarah Blakely was not supposed to be in the country. She flew back to meet me personally. Wow. So I'm laughing and talking, and I'm getting emotional now. I turn around, I see black trucks show up. I'm like, girl, I hope this ain't my ex coming to show out. Like, who is this? Sarah Blakely walks up. I've heard so much about you. I'm so excited about your journey. And she shakes my hand. I'm like, you can't wait to meet me, girl. I can't wait to meet you. Now, mind you, before podcasts, my car has been my classroom my entire life. So I'm listening to Sarah Blakely every week talk about how she's a self-made billionaire, Florida girl, went to FSU, sold fax machine. I mean, I know her whole story, know about her kids, know how she met her husband. And I was like, Sarah, you don't realize what you standing here, all this is cool, but being able to manifest a person that you listen to that encouraged you to get to this point is like a whole nother level. Yeah. And so when she walked in, I told God, I said, if you could do this, you can do anything. And that gave me like wings like no other. Wow. So that story, I'm re-encouraging myself, because
at this point you still got a job, yes?
Oh, I'm still at the job. Yeah. I'm at my lunch break talking to these people, right? And so speaking of that job, pandemic hits, 2020, I'm still working this job. And I was like, I'm letting these people control me in my own house. I'm working from home, and you controlling me.
You still had the job in 2020.
I still had my job.
I'm watching your journey.
17, 19, 20.
All that. Still getting that check. Still getting that check
and them good benefits that held me hostage. Because when I called HR and find out how much my life insurance costed, how much my health insurance, I was like, I could pay this with 2 or 3 pieces of artwork. And I paid it up for a year. I was like, oh, I'm about to get out of here. So I'm still letting these people abuse me like I'm in a bad marriage, right? So 2021 hits. It's January. I had an eyebrow appointment. Well, you need to do this. I'm like, I'm not canceling this eyebrow appointment again. Now, these folks get on my nerves. I said, yeah, I'm about to quit. She said, oh, yeah, we'll call you. I said, no. I'm quitting. This is like at 11:04 a.m. Oh, wow. I said, no, I'm quitting. She said, oh, because I had an appointment at 1 o'clock, because in my mind, I'm going to go to lunch, do my eyebrows. She's like, yeah, well, you need to be on the call or else. I said, or else what? I said, oh, these people don't know who I am. And then God says to me, you don't know who you are. And I sat in my house office, I'm in my own house. These people are controlling me on an invisible string in my own home that God built for me. And I said, this is it. And I want to say it was like January 29th or something, because everything was 11. Like, I remember the number sequence. And I was like, yeah, I'm quitting. And so the lady was like, oh, you're so dramatic. I was like, yeah, I'm quitting. Call HR. signed off my computer, closed it, pulled all the plugs out, wrapped it up, and went and got my eyebrows done and never looked back.
We got Michael McDonald. He is the silent partner of Earn Your Leisure, InvestFest, a whole EYL network. Everything that they do, there's a guy behind the scenes that is really pushing the buttons, and he doesn't get enough credit for it.
Do you think that Michael Jordan would be as successful without you? No.
Whoa.
They say like a jack of all trades, but a master of none, but still better than a master of one, right? Yeah. That was me. I had to do lighting. I had to do sound. I had to do the cameras. I had to do the emails, the customer support. I was everything. I was doing every component of the business. What eventually happened was we started to delegate. And what I'm great at is building these things, like putting things in place. There's no way that we can get to the level we want to get to if we don't delegate. That's why we have 5, 8-figure businesses, right? Because we have a bunch of different people.
5, 8-figure businesses? Whoa.
You want first place, come play with me. You want second place, go somewhere else.
A lot of people remember my podcast was actually on the Earn Your Leisure network. And everybody kept asking me, why did you leave? Why did you leave? Why did you leave? It was because of Mike.
It should have just been me and you. 12 o'clock at night, I'm upset. He texts me, Rashad, and Troy. And that just pissed me off.
Mike invited me to fight him.
I felt like, are you trying to like get me in trouble or trying to like I was like subordinate or something, or I was like this is my network, I'm an owner, like, you know, I'm not like a little guy, you know what I'm saying?
And he's like, yo, what you gonna do about it? I'm looking at the phone like.
When I had my son, it changed everything for me. There were times where I had to sleep in my car, I had to take a shower in a gas station, things like that. I no longer can depend on someone else to supply money in my pocket.
The person coming from the background, coming to the forefront, could pose a problem. This is an episode where you're gonna wanna watch the whole thing, okay? Don't skip around, don't jump to the middle, don't jump to the end, don't leave early. You need this whole game. I really got the game from him. I learned so much in this episode, and so will you. So first off, we can clap that up. What is business like at this point?
Booming. It's booming. And I say that confidently because even if I don't sell nothing today, I've made so many contacts and business opportunities have just come to me out of nowhere.
Well, I'm sorry, not today, but at the point where you quit your job.
Oh, it was doing okay. It wasn't that great. I had money in the bank, but the piece that I was being robbed of literally was not worth what they were giving me. And as an artist, because I'm so spiritual and emotional, I was so drained that I couldn't create. And I was like, they can't take this gift from me by going to this job. And God was like, if you really trust me, are you really ready to run? And so I quit. My last day was February 11th, which was the anniversary of when I first picked up the brush. I purposely did everything in sequence. Last day was February 11th. I had no plan. Had money in the bank, paid up my insurance to make sure everything was good, but I had no plan.
Did you consider your financial situation?
I had a lot of money though.
When you say a lot of money?
I mean, 6 figures in the bank. It was
Saved.
enough. Saved.
Where you get it from?
All of these deals. Because I remember I had a full-time job.
So you got your full-time job and you're getting art deals.
I had all this money saved, right? And I got an expensive shoe habit. I said, now this money is cool, but it's going to run out the way I like it. Because I wasn't stopping how I was going to live. Because all that $1 a day, I ain't doing none of that. That ain't my calling. So I'm still eating out, still, hanging with friends. But again, this is post-pandemic. So my real reason for quitting was I didn't know what the world would look like. And I really didn't want this job to be in my obituary. I was like, I would not want to die with, and she worked at ... I was like, oh, they ain't getting that kind of credit.
Wow.
And so when I decided to quit, I think my biggest thing was, what's next? Had no plan. I met a boy. And like our third date, I was like, I'm going to Phoenix, Arizona to get my mind right. At this point, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. He was like, well, I'm going with you. And I was like, I think I lost my mind, but you can come too. So we go to Phoenix. I mean, it was a great time. It wasn't even about the physical stuff. I just needed a partner to like take my pictures really. But we go there, and again, I'm a sun chaser, and I was like standing, he was like, the sun behind you is like, God, it look like arms behind me. I have to show you the picture. And I was like, God is saying I'm gonna be okay. So we get back and I paint every day. Every day I'm just making random paintings in my mind. So fast forward, Atlanta Influences Everything, Bim Joyner. He invites me to come show some art at Atlantic Station. They did a pop-up. So I'm carrying a piece out of the car, but the painting is facing the window. And so I'm walking past the window and a lady comes running out. Oh my God, I'm your biggest fan. We in mask. I'm like, okay, girl. I'm like, what you want? And she's like, no, I'm your biggest fan. You have to meet my husband. I was like, okay, girl, what's your husband? Oh, he's the president of Clark Atlanta. Wow. I was like, hey, husband. And so this whole time, Bim is waiting for me to bring the painting. So he's standing outside the door. So he comes out and I'm like, oh, so nice to meet you. HBCU, we exchanged all the salutations. I was like, well, God told me to give you this painting. This is a $5,000 painting. Mind you, I'm not working. I'm like, why am I giving this painting away?
$5,000?
Oh, mine are. Yes, they are. So I say, that's one of the smaller ones. So I just say, my bills are real now. So every paint, mortgage, car note. So that's the name of the painting. So in my heart, I'm like, I'm going to give this painting to him. So Bim is like, yo, you got a good heart. I'm like, yeah, Bim, I need some money, whatever. He's like, nah, like, you got a good heart. I'm about to do something for you. I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, well, I got a colleague. So Bim his last name is Joyner. I said, he's a joiner. He likes to join people. So he's like, I got somebody I want you to meet. I'm like, okay, introduce me. I was like, is he cute? He's like, nah, not like that. I was like, oh, but then who you introduce me to?
The little boy at this.
I ain't married. So anyway, so he's like, I want to put you in a text message. I'm like, child, Bim is just so extra. It is the regional director for Foot Locker.
Wow.
He is looking for a Black female designer to debut the next collection for like global distribution. Dang. So because I was painting every day for the past 2 months at this point, I had a collection ready within 10 minutes to present to him. Wow. So this was like a Thursday. By Monday, I was in a meeting with the VP of Women's, the VP of Sales, and I got a deal by that Tuesday with Foot Locker.
And what is the deal? The deal is to
have my clothes
in
the
shoes.
No. I'm in store. So all of this loudness.
The apparel.
So I have Melissa Mitchell is on tags on apparel in the store.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't have to wait for a Nike. I didn't have to wait for Adidas. I didn't have to wait for Pumas.
That's
Melissa
incredible.
Mitchell is next to Pumas and Adidas in the store.
That's incredible.
To this day. So I'm actually meeting with them again like in 3 days.
Really?
For my 5th collection.
So they read up 5 times. Let me ask you this. This is a business podcast. What are some of the terms of the deal, and did you get Kanye Wested?
No, I own everything. And that was my thing because I was waiting so on my phone, I have Puma, like I have a dream board on my phone. So I'm waiting for Puma to call. I'm like, they need to call me. Like, Ivy Park is cool, but they need ABL Creation. I'm talking my talk to God. God is like, okay, right? And so all along, I'm waiting for a Nike to call me. And I probably would have been paid for the design, but I wouldn't have gotten paid for the entire deal. So for this, it was more so I was now an actual vendor. So they're buying from me, not my design. So if the bras are $1 a piece, you know what I mean? Like I can't go deep. But if they're buying from me directly, like there's no middleman, there's no pay David and pay Melissa. It's Melissa and Foot Locker.
So they're carrying your brand. You're not designing for them.
No. It's my brand in the store.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So now I'm in the stores.
Yeah.
On my own. No strings attached to anybody else.
How many stores?
It's around the country. So let's say 100. I don't know.
Really?
At this point, it's a lot. I was literally getting DMs from somebody from Hawaii. She's like, hey, I'm in the store now. I found you because my QR code is on everything, right? She's like, I found your website. I'm about to buy all your other stuff too. So I'm getting residual business from one collection being in the store. Now I have people that are now connected to me for a lifetime because they're like, oh, you're my person. Like you're my Versace. You're my go-to brand. And I just emailed somebody and she's like, well, when you coming out with this? Like I have a personal relationship with a lot of my people that call, like they text me directly. And I was like, girl, just take my number.
So the Spanx deal came from you submitting and being dope.
Yeah.
And the Foot Locker deal came from someone you had a connection with that person.
Yes.
And you got a deal there.
Yeah.
Ford, how'd you get that deal?
I won that. I won a car.
How'd you win it though?
So I think shortly after that, I was in the middle of it. I don't think I had won it yet. I didn't win it until December of that year. So basically, it was a contest of 10 of the top female entrepreneurs. They flew us out to Essence Fest. I was up against Lip Bar. I was up against Honey Pot. this applesauce lady, all of these brands. And I'm like, girl, I ain't got no blue. And this was blue checks is blue checks.
Right.
I ain't had no blue check. I was like, I ain't gonna win this, but I'm gonna smile real big on camera. So my mom was like, you think you gonna win a car? And at this point, I got check engine light on. I done changed the back tire 4 times. Like, it's just too much. And I was like, God, I actually need a car. This is not a want right now. This is a need. And so the executive assistant called me. She said, have you driven a Ford before? I was like, my dad was a Ford car salesman. So I was like, Dad, nah, I don't really ask for much. Since you ain't sent the husband, at least let me win this car. And so I ended up winning it that December, shortly after I had the interview. I won the car for 3 years, and then it led me right up into pandemic. So this story gonna blow your mind.
Talk to me.
So it's time for me to turn the Ford in because it was a 3-year lease. And I said, Lord, I need a car. So I'm gonna go big. I want an Infinity. I want the biggest one they got because it was the only girly truck that had a big enough trunk. So I have on a shirt, I never forget, it was like November 19th. And I had a shirt that says, buy from a black woman. And I sat in front of Atlantic Station because at that time I was being sold in Atlantic Station, Ponce City Market. And I looked at the thing and said, Infinity dealership. And the Infinity dealership off Car Parkway was 11 miles away. You know, 11 is my number. I always look for signs. I said, this is the one I'm going to. I said, I need a black female car salesperson. They're like, girl, it's a lady in the back. So I'm, unassuming. She said, well, what you doing in here? I got on a aqua blue fur coat, pair of leggings. I'm loud. She's like, girl, who this drug dealer girlfriend coming in here? And so I walk in and I says, I need to buy a truck. I said, I got about 20K I could put down. I'm ready. I'm talking real cashy. She was like, yeah, I hear all that, but you don't need Infinity. I was like, I need an Infinity. She's like, no, I think you need like a Cadillac. I was like, well, this ain't a Cadillac dealership. I came for an Infinity. She says, no, I want to introduce you to my daughter, who is a VP of Cadillac. She said, don't buy a car today. Talk to her first. Her daughter calls me. At this point, my uncle had just passed away. So I was headed to Miami. I was like, I need a car. Like, I literally physically need a car. And she's like, her daughter calls me. She says, hey, I'm so-and-so. I work for Cadillac. She said, we're looking for influencers to take Cadillac Escalades for about a year or two.
What?
So they have a Cadillac Escalade delivered to my house within 2 weeks. Free of charge.
Right, so hold on one second. Because in the interview,
I promise.
I am looking for strategy on how to get these sponsorships and these deals.
I wish I had a strategy for you.
Come on, talk to me.
I struggle with this because someone invited me to a conference. I'm like, y'all, I'm gonna get up there and talk about God. Y'all gonna be mad at me because I say that with all honesty because there is something so special in my life because I've completely submitted to God, and it's not something that can be replicated, poured into bottles, given out. I really believe that people have to find God for themselves, and I think that illumination on my life is because of that. And I'm not no holy roller at all. When I leave, I'm probably gonna listen to Trick Daddy as I always do. Cuss real bad, like tattoos, all of that. But when you have that, like,
cuss real bad.
No, I do. And I try to get myself together, but it's tough. My grandma's fault. She left her spirit with me. But I do believe that when you have a determination to get to a finish line, no matter how you get there, you'll get there. And I told God I want to, boom, boom, boom. I was like, well, however you do it, it's fine. It's like me ordering a pizza and I don't call them no more. When you order your pizza, you don't keep calling Pizza Hut. Yeah. You got black peppers. You ordered it at 10 o'clock. We make it. That's what we do. We make pizzas. God make pizzas. Leave God alone. I don't call and ask if you have enough sauce. I don't ask if you have oregano. God is like, literally, you put your ingredients. So I trust God with my pizza. Right? And so however that pizza is made, I don't know what kind of oven y'all got. I don't know the temperature. I know that my pizza will be delivered at some point. So when it comes to my life and my strategy, I ask God to be debt free, which I'm not because I like to shop. So that's kind of like a give and take. But money keeps showing up. Opportunities keep showing up. And I think as a business owner, you write your goals down, but you need to also have a blank sheet of paper for how it's going to happen. And even on my dream board, I have all of these things listed. I want this, I want that. But I literally have a Post-it note that's empty to leave room for God to do the impossible. And I think people are so stuck on this list. Like even when it comes to dating, if he ain't this, he ain't that. But it's like, well, what if you have a man that is a mechanic that saves you thousands of dollars on your car, on y'all car? So if y'all have a fleet of Cadillacs, You saving 10 grand because your man know how to fix a car, but you ain't want no mechanic.
When he grab you, you still got them nails with the oil.
And that's fine, but I like doing nails.
Okay.
And I have the manicure stuff at the house. So if you find a woman that has that desire to do certain things, it matches a man that has those things.
That oil don't come out though.
I mean, it will. It will.
So
eventually.
so you're still single to this day?
Ish. Yep.
Kinda.
Yep.
Are you is there somebody in the world that thinks
Yes.
they're in a committed relationship with you? Okay. How long has this been going on?
2 years.
Girl, you taken.
I mean, I guess.
Are options open still?
Possibly.
Really?
Yeah.
He's watching. Let's go. He's watching this.
Then I say, I want to talk about this on camera.
And what is he thinking? What do you think? What do you think he's thinking while he's watching this?
I think, and I don't talk about my relationships on camera on purpose because it'll end up going viral like some folks that talk about love. I think relationships should be whatever feeds your spirit daily. And my spirit is being fed adequately, and that's enough. And I think when I turned 40, I thought marriage, kids, and all of that would be my like dolly, like that was my like grand poobah of accomplishments. But then I turned on my phone and I'm on a billboard in Times Square. I have hundreds of thousands of people telling me that because of me that they're not giving up. I have friends that are secretly messaging me saying that because of you, I kept going. And that became my like, if God pulled the plug today, that would be enough. And I listened to an amazing podcast today about this little boy who was 4 years old. He was completely blind. And this speaker had been told that he's going blind soon. He said, well, I'm not going blind no time soon. So he ended up being matched with this little boy in the school. And so the teacher said, well, we don't have a position for you, but there's a 4-year-old boy here who's blind, who can't tie a shoe, and he probably will never be able to walk the stairs. And so he was partnered with this little boy. And of course, eventually he learns how to do all these things. But then the man goes blind. And then he goes to the school and goes to submit his resignation. And the little boy, because you know they both blind, they can't see each other. And he's like, well, why are you giving up? You told me I would be able to do it. Why can't you do it? And then the little boy died 6 days later. And he takes that little boy's story, and now I'm bringing it here. He said that 4-year-old boy, at that time he was 7, that 7-year-old boy's life meant more than those 7 years than he could ever understand. Because the teacher was like, well, I wish he would have lived a full life. And the guy who spoke, he said, no, his life lives on. And I believe that God has given us all something that will live on regardless if we meet all of these major goals that we think life is. And so when I think about relationships, a lot of my girlfriends are, struggling and dating is this and dating is that. I've never confessed that dating is hard. I meet a man everywhere I go. I don't ever have a problem meeting a man. And I say that because I am so enigmatic that people are like, well, what's her story? And whether it's romantic or not, I'm a people connector. I don't mind connecting with people. And I think when you look at dating as a connection and an assignment, it's bigger than sexual or romantic. It is an assignment. And so we were talking about earlier, marriage is so important to me because I was there when my mom had to put the do not resuscitate bracelet on my father. And I was like, Mom, why would you do? She said, these were his wishes. She said, as a woman, I can't selfishly keep him here so as to watch him and take away from whatever reward that God has for me on the other side. And with him dying, I do believe that opened up a world of faith for all of us because he's not here. So we're constantly seeking where he's at, right? And so when it comes to my relationships, can a man come into my life and make sure that Melissa Mitchell lives on? Like every day you hear me say Michael Mitchell, that's my father's name. I continue to echo his name in the earth. And so with dating, don't date for right now, date for when you're gone. And that's how I date.
Don't date for right now, date for when you're gone. But you don't date for marriage necessarily?
Well, I'm talking about the person that you're dating, right?
Yeah.
Like you're serious dating. When you get to the last candidate or two, can you really trust that this person will make sure that David will live on?
If you meet someone very interesting, electrifying today, do you entertain it?
Yeah, why not?
Because you got somebody.
I mean, we have conversations. I mean, we're not in a binding relationship, right? Because he's not totally ready for that. And I don't know if I am either. And I thought I was. And I think that my art was my spouse for so long that I had to carve out space for that because it was and I think with people it's easier to think that you can control them, but you can't. But with art, I can pick up a brush right now and control what ends up on the canvas. You can't do that with people.
That's a fact.
And I think that for a long time I thought I could. I can manifest anything I want. Why isn't a man walking through here that's 6 so-and-so with tattoos on the neck? You know, why is it? And God is like, that's not how this works.
You want them with tattoos on their neck.
I mean, maybe behind his ear. It's not bad.
Okay.
You know?
I didn't know that was on the board. Like,
I mean,
tattoos on
I don't
the
mind.
neck.
I don't mind tattoos. I love tattoos.
Oh, for sure.
So
I just didn't know if it was on your vision.
tattoos are nice to have. I like body art.
You like art.
I have
That
like
makes sense.
I have like 13 tattoos. You can't see them.
Really?
Yeah, but yeah, they're everywhere. But they're dainty and they're meaningful. Yeah.
Do you have like, are they all small, the 13, or you got like some big ones somewhere?
Medium to small, yeah. But I like I went to manifested a trip to Israel last year. So I wrote an essay.
First off, I'm sorry. I just want, because I know Reese is waiting for me. I'm not getting into the manifestation conversation. I'm not going to do it. Because we're going to sit here for an hour.
I won't do it.
And I have a relationship with this manifestation word. So
You know,
that segue was just for Reese because I know he's waiting for me to say.
But the name of our podcast episode was wasn't it Art of Manifest, How to Manifest or something?
Was it?
Our podcast title was Manifestation or something like that.
The manifestation of a dream.
Yes. And I'm literally walking that every day.
I have a relationship with the word.
What time is it right now? Okay, I thought it was a number going on. Okay. So long story short, I am in Israel at this point, and we go to literally Jesus' tomb. It's closed. Y'all can't get in here. I said, they said that to the same folk in the Bible, that it's closed. It's just not closed. So I'm going to come back up here. And so we come the next day. The sun is rising. It looked like something out of a movie. Like, you know, Jesus was gone. We already know how the story ends. But the sun was rising and God was like, there is nothing off limits to you. Like, there's nothing you can't have. And it was, so that's why I got the paintbrush here that reminds me that I could paint my reality, that everything I touch is my canvas, like everything, person, thing or whatever. And so we all went and got tattoos. So this one says creator in English, but it also has a cross to remind me that I left it all on the cross. Like everything that I'm struggling with, I left it there. And then this one is, she is a creator in Hebrew to remind me of my trip to Israel that I manifested even that moment.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so that also, when I gave that painting to Clark Atlanta's president, I was turning 40 that year. And I said, man, I would love to go out of the country. They were headed to Ghana a few weeks after that, and they invited me to go free of charge. So I also manifested a trip to Ghana that same year.
Don't nobody take me nowhere. Don't nobody give me no opportunities.
But have you asked God for that? Have you? But no.
Let me think.
Have you really asked God for that though?
Let me think. Have I not manifested?
I have a globe on my phone to remind me that the world is like not my limitation. Like,
but I mean, the things that are happening in your life.
But that's for me though. Like that's why I tell people like that's a me thing. So like yesterday we were on the rooftop, and when it was time for me to take pictures, there was something flying all around. I was like, what is this bug? A ladybug shows up and is in all of my pictures. And that's two things that I always look for. The number 11, well, three things. Number 11, a red cardinal, and a ladybug. And she showed up in my picture and was in all of the background of my pictures. And I was like, hey, God. My sister's like, only you. Everybody's always like, only you would have this. And you have to feel like you're so special that God does stuff only for you. Like I'm that drunk on God's like grace. Like I'm just like, this only for me. Like a parking space shows up at Ross. This only my parking space. It's only for me. A size 7. It's only for me. You know, and you have to be so like delusional to feel like God is only doing it for you. Because then it will only happen for you.
So tell me about this 11 thing you referred to.
11. Yes.
Tell me about it.
So my birthday's May 11th. I was born at 1101 in room 1101. And 11s have followed me all of my life. And so I think everybody should pick a number. Like,
Why?
No. Listen, because when you are looking for signs that only you can understand, it usually shows up in a number. So like 919 or 422, like it doesn't even matter if it means nothing to nobody else. It just happened 11 is pretty popular for people. And so it just speaks to me. Like,
oh, so it's not like there's not like a science to it. You're just saying, yo, this is my number. I like it. When I see it, That's my joint.
No, there's a song by Luther Vandross about Superman. And it says that Superman can fly because I believe he can. That's just it. Like Superman, I ain't never seen him fly, but I believe he can fly, so Superman can fly. 11 is my number because it's magical because I believe that it's magical. I don't care what nobody else say. I don't care what the dictionary say. I don't care what the naysayers say. It's my number. So when it shows up, it means something to me. And that's why I think people need to find, like, it could be like, if I see a glass bottle, that means something to me. You may see them all the time, but you have to find something that's very like between you and God. So if I see an 11, don't go down the street. If I see 11, go down the street. So whatever that agreement, silent agreement between you and God, that's your sign. Like I believe that signs are always showing up, but we have to put meaning to them so it means something to you. So when it shows up, so I remember literally we're leaving my dad's funeral. Of course, I'm distraught. I was the last person to hear him. I had to listen to him die. So I'm like, I'm dealing with that. And a red bird just shows up on the porch. I'm like, don't y'all see the red bird? They're like, what red bird? I'm like, y'all, the red bird. And God was like, that was for you. Wasn't nobody gonna see it but you? And I was like, dang, this is my thing. So for 13 years, red birds, ladybugs, and 11s have just been my thing.
That was actually a dope explanation where it's just your thing. Like, and it's not like I have to be able to explain it.
And then you may be lucky enough to find people that are your crazy kind of crazy too. Cause I was at the store, she said, girl, what you know about 11? I was like, what you know about 11?
What you know about 11?
So we got the whole line of TJ Maxx held up. Great. And my thing was like, when I was on, I was like, yeah, how much? You know, like we gotta go. And so I laugh about, I usually have it on my neck, but I didn't feel like doing all the jewelry. I got enough somewhere else to go. But I usually wear 1111. And then when I stopped wearing jewelry on 1114, cause 1111 I was busy, I got it on my hands. So it reminds me to pray every day at 1111. So it's on my hands.
I like your style, man.
A lot of people do.
Like, yo, literally stuff just shows up because you expect it to show up.
Just
And
like
maybe-
this. How many times have I texted you about this opportunity?
A few times.
Like over 11. I was about to say, when I get big, David better not come calling me to do this interview because bigger. I said, because I'm not texting you no more about this.
No, it's just blame it on my head and not my heart.
You like, I got a new baby. I said, yeah, but I see you out in the street. So what you?
For sure.
I know, but no. So I'll call you out.
You know what my biggest issue is? If, like, say somebody texts me, like even Kay is my assistant, she'll text me. If I don't have an immediate answer,
you just let it linger. But you're Sagittarius.
I forget. Let's not, okay? I have enjoyed this. But yeah, if I don't have an immediate answer, like I don't have a date or something, it's like, I'm not ignoring it. It's just until I get an answer.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm gonna reply back when I have an answer.
And as a Taurus,
by that time I forget.
And as a Taurus, I'm not gonna let stuff die.
Good.
And I think that is my superpower when it comes to business. Because if I feel like something is mine, I am not gonna stop emailing you. I
appreciate the fact that you didn't take it personally because
I know how life is,
bro. Yo, I was
your first episode. I was like, oh, he's going to have me back on. Sure. I will go on live and be like, that's funny how he don't want but no, and I always operate in grace too, right? Because what we see is only 9% of what a person really is, 10% of what a person really is. Like, people don't know that I was like, when I left there, I was battling like an internal thing happening in my body and I didn't know.
Really? And
I was rushed to the hospital shortly after like our interview. So the whole time I was sick and didn't know it. I'm like, well, I'm getting skinny. I look good. And my doctor's like, no, this is not good. I was like, oh, okay.
What was it?
Nothing I'm going to talk about on camera.
Are you over it?
No.
You still have it? Still battle it?
Yep.
You're getting better though?
Yeah, I'm better. Obviously, I've gained my weight back. But I think during that time, I think I was just so excited about just manifesting. I'm doing all these things. My mom was like, you can't manifest and be your worst self and your best self at the same time. So God literally sat me down for like 8 months. I was like sick, but I was still painting from the hospital bed. And I still was able to fly to the Oscars to do all the head wraps for all the celebrities.
Did you do the Oscars?
Fully medicated. Yeah, and I painted that from the hospital bed.
Goodness gracious.
Yep, in 2019.
How would you teach an artist how to make money? Because it seems like, obviously, you're good. You're good at it. And I think you're good because it's you. And I don't think you're comparing yourself to anybody. And
you can't.
Yeah.
I think because I don't see myself as an artist. I think that's the first thing. I see myself as a businesswoman and as an entrepreneur and as a, like I said, a movement, right? So when no one buys my art, I don't take it personal because I have 20 other things that I'm selling too. Okay, you want an art, but you want a jacket? Want some shoes? Want a purse? Want a rug? You want it? So I've learned how to pivot. So let's talk about 2020, the dark ages, right, of business, but the best time of my life.
For sure.
And so when I was in that cave in the house, I said, if I never sell another piece of art, what am I going to do? And so I had to take all these head wraps that were in the house that weren't selling and turn them into masks. And what I learned was that don't be offended. I had hundreds of head wraps I had to literally cut up and turn into masks to make money because I wasn't able to go to festivals. Nobody wanted a head wrap. They wanted masks because everybody wanted to be cute. And so I learned to not take it personal when business isn't going as well as I thought, right? Because it's not going to take anything away from me. And I think as artists is you're translating a language that God gave you onto canvas. So if nobody is buying it, that's okay because you're still being obedient to what God has spoken to you, right? And eventually somebody will walk into a studio and speak your language like, that speaks to me. I'm like, that's speaking to you? She's like, yeah. How much you gonna willing to pay for that speaking to you, right? And so art is the only thing that you can put a price point on and nobody can justify it except for you.
That's a fact.
So I could charge you $1,000 for the jacket, but I could also give you this jacket because I'm an artist.
Yeah.
You can't do that with real estate. You can't do it with jewelry because you have to have somebody appraise it. But as an artist, I can say, yeah, that bad, $2,000 and not even blink. You like, but because you believe in me believing that that's $2,000, you'll pay $2,000.
Oh, break that. I want you to go a little deeper though. You said because you believe that I believe that that's worth $2,000.
So because I believe that I am worth and my art is worthy of $2,000, you believe in my belief. Like, wow, she really believes that this is $2,000. I'm gonna pay $2,000 for that because you're so like strongly connected to my story and my artistry. Because I ain't the best artist in the world. I ain't walking around here doing portraits. These are real nice. I probably can't do none of this. But can't nobody do this like me.
Yeah.
Like even a lot of brands come out with new stuff that, oh, that look like you. People are all over the world. Somebody texts me from Portugal. It's like, yo, this looks like your stuff on the street. I'm like, it's not. But I've ingrained this language so well that people are literally brainwashed to think it's mine, even when it's not.
That's true. Anytime I see anything remote,
you call me like, yo, somebody got. I was like, it's not mine. You're like, oh, okay, cool. Think about you, sis. Like, you could be, but God gave me this language that I knew nothing about, and everybody assumes it's me. So my marketing is already in people's psyche. So even when Marnie just came out with this new pattern, and Emilio Pucci came out with this new pattern yesterday that looks exactly like my work. Wow. People think it's me. They're like, oh yeah, you leveling up. I was like, yep, leveling up. That's not my work. You know. But
is there any go ahead.
No, it's you can't.
No legal recourse.
You can't. So I really just have to trust God that my opportunities will keep coming because it looks so much like my stuff. But you can't. The only way I could copyright this is if I put a big logo in the middle of it, and then I'm copywriting the logo on top of my art. But even that's like red tapey. Yeah. So I have to just trust that God gonna look out for me and I'll get what I'm supposed to get.
So do you recommend that, and I know you don't identify as an artist. You're an artist. You are an artist.
I am. Okay. But I'm saying I don't look at my life as like, oh, I'm an artist.
Just an artist.
Yeah.
So you haven't taken on the identity of an artist.
No, because I feel like it's a dope opportunity, but it's a negative connotation too. Like, oh, Chash, you're an artist. I mean, for some, it's gotten cooler now, but the first thing old school people say is starving artist. Yeah. That's like the ingrained, like, child, she's a struggling artist, starving artist. I was like, well, honey, that's not my confession, so don't call me that. Call me Melissa. I don't even need to be called nothing else but that.
Right.
And even my name itself means honeybee, and a bee doesn't even know it's not supposed to be able to fly. Yeah. Ergonomically, they are in nature, they're supposed to be grounded because they're so heavy in the back. But don't tell a bee that because they'll be buzzing. Yeah. I mean, you look at a bee, it's so back heavy. Is not supposed to be able to fly. So I don't know that I'm only 5'2". Like I was like, oh, that's news to me. Y'all real tall. I'm like, I guess I am. Like I don't realize it until I walk into a room and see people that are much bigger. But even when I get dressed, I don't look at a 5'2" woman in the mirror. I look at Melissa just as she is. And so just like the bee, I don't know I'm not supposed to be in these rooms. I just show up in them.
Wow.
So it doesn't matter to me. I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to be like I went to an event this weekend, hung out with the Omegas. I'm laughing and talking. One of the founders comes and sit at my booth. He's like, what's going on, beautiful? I was like, hey, what's going on? My friend's like, hey, you need to look for this guy named so-and-so. I said, oh, him? He's like, how you sitting at your booth? I said, he just came and sat here. He's like, oh, you're good all weekend. You could walk right through. Came in, personally got me at the door and walked me in. My sister said, me and her both did our little like, I told you. But that's my life. And I expect it to happen. Right? I don't go into like, well, how much is, my friends like, how much tickets? I was like, I don't know what tickets cost. I don't know the link. I don't know what it costs. Not my problem. And it's not because there's a cockiness, there's a confidence in knowing that God will like take care of me no matter what. And it's come to find out he knew my daddy 20 years ago.
Yo, oh my gosh. Yo, I literally, okay, so maybe I need to start expecting stuff. Yo, if the stuff that happens to you happened to me, I'd be like a bazillionaire. Because I really just gotta work and grind and strategize and like make it happen, and then it happens, right? I don't really get no opportunities like that. You know what I mean?
But
so I need to start expecting it.
Like I don't ever like yesterday I got invited to an amazing Black Radiance event, all of that, and I just did a random video. And again, 1 minute videos can change your life.
Videos,
huh?
I be doing mad videos.
But I'm just saying, like I take moments of just chronicling my denial. Like, girl, I wasn't invited to 5 events, but I was invited to 1. Mm-hmm. Like I'm really, really maximizing where I am allowed to go, where I am invited, right? And I think in Atlanta specifically, because we see so much stuff happening socially, like, well, why David ain't calling me for that? David will call you for something else. Just let it go. Focus on what you have. And I think social media in general has just made us so, like, we're just in such a comparison age. Like this prom stuff going on. And I'm like, I ain't doing that for my child. I probably will. But it's also like, why does it matter? Like, how do we know her mom didn't struggle with cancer and prayed for this moment for her to see her to go to prom? How do we know that her daddy didn't die and put in his will that he wanted her to have a bomb prom? Like, you know, we don't know people's stories.
Yeah.
And I'm big on worry about your own story. Mm. Like, I can't really worry about what other people have going on. Like, I purposely can't worry about it.
How do you feel about polygamy? It seems, let me just tell you my assumption. It seems like you'd be with it.
If I was with it, I wouldn't talk about it on camera. Because it's nobody's business.
And if you wasn't with it, you'd say, I'm not with it.
So I understand. I understand it.
Yeah, for
At
sure.
41, I understand it.
I get it.
I think different people bring different things into your life. I don't know if you need to be romantically involved with all of them.
Yeah.
But that is why married men get caught up with the secretary, because she understands him emotionally. He may never sleep with her, but that emotional exchange might be enough for him to get through that job. Mm-hmm. So it becomes romantic because there's an emotional connection, right? Yeah. And so whatever that works for that. And I think society is so big on telling their business. Like, I don't have to know what y'all got going on. Why do I have to know you have 3 wives? That doesn't matter. Like, that's why I don't like to talk about my relationships on camera, because it's going to be always that one ex. Well, you said... I wasn't even talking about you, sir. You weren't even in the purview. But people take everything so personal, right? So it's like, if it takes 3 different men and whatever I need to take it, then that's what it takes for me. But that's nobody's business. Yeah. Like, it's nobody's business what kind of medicine I got to take to wake up and go to sleep. That I barely slept last night and my stomach is hurting right now. Like, that's nobody's business, right? So it's like, why do we feel the obligation to share who we're interested in, what we do, what we eat? Like, girl, just get offline and live. Like, I think because we're in that age, people feel like, well, hey, y'all, I'm going live. I know y'all want to know about my skin routine. We don't want to know about your skin routine.
Here's the thing. Some people do want to know about your skin routine.
But then you get mad when we want to know about who that man is in the background. Then don't go live in your bedroom. Yeah. Go in the living room. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, you can't pick and choose. Once you open that door, well, who the little boy about? Because he don't look like David. That ain't David, little boy. It's like, whoa, that ain't y'all business. So it's like, you can't pick and choose how you want to share your life when you share it so much. That's why I'm like, even though I don't have anything like salacious going on in my relationship, I purposely keep that door closed because that's nobody's business. Mm-hmm. And even like on social, I want y'all to think I'm single. Like, I post up I love every day because I think love is a beautiful thing as an artist. It's inspirational. I love seeing pregnant people. I love seeing old folks in love. I like seeing folk open doors because I'm a hopeless romantic, and I'll never see my dad get old. I'll never see my grandma experience that my grandpa. So that for me, it's not because I'm like, oh, she just so in love with love. I love seeing love grow old. So that's why I'm always like, oh my God, y'all so cute. You know, I'm excited about seeing people grow old together because my mom doesn't have a boyfriend or husband, right? And now she became a widow at 47, 48. I'm 41. I ain't been married yet. So imagine becoming a widow at 40. You know, so I think about that all the time. So when you look at love online, you really need to just mind your business.
You can't though.
You need to.
Your story of being with someone would be inspirational, right? There are some people that they have a particular agenda. Like I'm seeing more people going hard with the poly message, which
it's been going on for a long time.
It has, but there are some people that take it upon themselves to bring awareness because they might look at someone like me and say, well, that person's closed-minded, they're asleep. I feel the need to bring light to this thing that everybody thinks about, but nobody's willing to actually, you don't do it because it's taboo and they feel like the freedom fighter for that.
Yeah, and again, I think everybody is given a task in the world, right? My message is of hope, of art, being loud, being colorful, being purpose-driven. That's not my ministry.
Yeah,
that's not what I've been. That when God pulled out my scroll on May 11th, 1982, polygamy wasn't on the list. That's not that's not my thing. But if it just so happened to be something I get into, that's nobody's business because I am, again, a Taurus. I'm very big on boundaries. Like, well, I'm coming by your house. Who house? I will watch you on my Ring camera and be in the bed because you did not call. Like, I don't like, because when I'm home and I'm in there with my plants and painting, like it's my sanctuary. Like I have never had a housewarming because I'm very big on my space. So, you know, those kind of conversations just are difficult for me because that's like my house. My love is like, even when I talk about my dad, I barely can listen to his voice because my dad used to do podcasts in the garage, in the basement.
Wow.
And he died right before, everything took off. So it's even hard for me to even open up to talk about that. So like 13 years later, I'm finally able to say it out loud, but it's like, that's none of your business. Yeah. I don't go about talking my grief on a national platform because I'm still very tender when it comes to that. When I talk about being sick, because I'm not, it's what they told me, but it's not what I am. I don't identify with it. Yeah. Relationships is something that is a very tender topic for successful women. And I think that we have to be careful about what we say on these mics because that soundbite can end up messing up the rest of our lives. Like, ooh, I believe that men should do this. That'd be the only soundbite they take from this whole podcast. They miss me talking about manifesting. They miss me talking about the Lord. Girl, she don't like no man because he sweep at the front and she did. I'm like, girl, I don't care who you date. Like, make it work. Yeah. And if we were to talk about that certain thing that went viral about who to date and how to date, if you dating for energy and frequency, if that person ended up in your purview, in your pathway, then that's who God wants you to be with. If you truly believe that what God sends to you is what God sends to you, then whether that man is a bus driver or a CEO or whatever he is, then that's your assignment. And that's between you and God. That doesn't have to be a public thing either.
How do you know if the frequency or the energy is not just a little vibe? You met somebody that's a vibe. Well, you're a little vibe.
I mean, that's a risk you're willing to take. That's and I think you're human, right? Yeah. I think you need to have human experiences. Yeah. Because if you look at relationships as like, I think about The Alchemist all the time. Everybody is bringing us something. Even our friendship brought us obviously something, right? But it wasn't romantic. But that doesn't mean you throw away the friendship, right? So I meet you, we having a vibe. You're married, that's cool. But your son might be somebody, so you're thinking about connecting. Like we're all one big part of like a connected dot. It's like one big board. Everybody is a connected dot board. So if you look at it like that, if it work out, cool. If it doesn't, that's cool too.
Good. In your business dealings,
yes.
What's one thing that you struggle with?
Sometimes setting my price.
Really?
Yeah, because I still see myself sometimes as that little girl, and little girl as in like a 20, 30-year-old painting in my mother's house. So I sometimes see myself as a $20 painter, because I'm like, wow, y'all really paying $5,000 for this? Like, dang, like, I feel like I'm getting over. But I put 10 years into it. I deserved $50,000 to $20,000 per thing, So I think setting the price and asking before I set my price what the budget is. Am I doing too much? And it's like that. It's like when it comes to money, I don't know why maybe me. I'm always like $50, $100, $1,000. Like, I'm always kind of timid when it comes to dollars. But now, I mean, it varies. But I think sometimes money is always like the tender part of my conversations.
He said you don't have a manager. You do everything yourself. Yep.
Everything's come to me. And I say that very confidently that God is my publicist and my manager. And I probably need a manager. I've looked at like 3 or 4 different people. It just hasn't been the right situation. Yeah. But no, I don't have a manager.
Dang. I wish.
You're my manager.
No. Yo, and actually, I would be an amazing manager. And
Let's
I
try
say
it
it all the time, fam.
But you got too much stuff going on.
What?
Yeah, and I need to be the focus of everything.
I would be a better manager than a talent. And I am kind of like the talent. Like I would be an
and that's
amazing,
me too. Yeah.
like CFO.
Yeah. Because you have a good eagle's eye of stuff.
Yes, but I think I would be able to like take something and just amplify it. But right now, I'm the person who thinks of it, dreams it up. You
the cook, the manager, the sweep. Yeah, you do it all. Yeah.
So I would have managed you though, because it's just an easy job. They're gonna holler at you anyway. You know what I mean?
And that's my struggle with management because I'm getting these deals anyway.
Yeah.
I need someone that has eyes behind my back that I don't see things. So really, it's more like a protection, and a person that forces people's hands. But then also, if we get $100,000, you taking a lot for just talking. You get 20%, but I know that. So I struggle with if I got $100,000 deal from me just talking, and now my manager gets that automatically, or how we going? How do we do that?
So the DMs are open for a man and a manager right now.
I'm not looking for that kind of solicitation.
Not looking for it, but it's open.
I don't want no man DMing me.
But if they do, you'll look at the profile.
Yeah, and 80% of the time it hasn't been good.
But that 20 though.
Yeah, and that's how I found. Yeah, but I need it.
That 20 do what it do, don't it?
Just enough to keep the flies off you. But speaking of social media, I do answer my DMs. I do. Because like even this morning, that random video I did 1 minute on the rooftop of the event, someone's like, I burst out crying because I'm struggling with that right now. And so when God gives you a message, deliver it. Like it's somebody's life is dependent on that. And I don't take that lightly, right? Especially entrepreneurially, people are struggling because you see so many wins online and you're like, well, dang, I do the same thing, or how is it not, it's not fair. And it's like, life isn't fair, but it's also just. Yeah. When it's your time, it's your time. And I've had to watch people that had no talent win before me, but I've seen a lot of people with talent win too. So I'm like, well, when my wins come, I don't want nobody to feel a certain kind of way, because that's why I try to chronicle my lows as much as my highs. So, when these wins come, these tears are not constructed for this post. This is like a real thing. So if you go back to my post all the way from September 20th, 2018, the same genuine pureness, hunger, I'm still hungry like I was when I first started painting on the carpet in my mother's house.
Goodness. I'm so proud of you, man.
Thank you.
I am really, really proud of you.
Thank you.
Just a lot of people can't sustain growth or sustain your success, and it's also a beautiful story to see. I had this vision or this idea, and I think our first event was this was the illest idea. I need to do it again. Remember our first event?
Yeah, I painted on the stage. Yeah.
So I had this concept where like you could submit your logos, and Melissa taught everyone how to paint their logo. It was like a stencil. So we got everybody's logos cut out, and you put it on
like a CEO paint and sip.
That joint was hard. I need to bring that back.
Yeah. Because I think when you, especially as a business owner, when you write things down, when you paint things down, they become very real. And they come to life and they come into color. Yeah. And I think color for me has transformed my life, because I dreamed in color all while I was little. And I'd be like, oh, you didn't see the green? It's because a lot of people don't dream in color. Yeah. I've always dreamed in color. Even when I hear music, I see colors. And so once I realized that I was a special person when it comes to color, I had to lean into that. I was working out, AirPods in, they be trying to flirt. He's like, I see your nails. I'm like, what? He's like, your nails always match your leggings. I said, no, my leggings always match my nails. Like but people notice things that you don't even realize. Like even when I did my Toyota commercial, I got my nails to match the exact color of the car. And the producer was like, how did you do that? I said, I was intentional. I took the picture of the car to my nail tech. So now that was additional branding that another person wouldn't have thoughtfully done. But because I rock with color the way I do, it's a language that speaks to everybody. So no matter if it was a little girl staring at me. She said, she don't never talk to nobody, pacify out. She looking at the basket like she probably thought I was a clown, but it's fine. But she was like, hi. I was like, hey, Pooh, But I had on so many colors, she couldn't miss me, but it was almost like it was a calming effect. Yeah. So colors speak to everybody.
What's your last question? What's your sister circle like? You got friends?
I do have friends.
A lot?
I do.
Not that you have friends, but like
I do.
like a
Core folks.
core group.
I have several sets of friends for several different reasons, but I withdraw from 90% of them all the time because I just have to keep because I don't want to hear about dating. I don't want to hear about excuses. I don't want to hear about, it's good to have that, but as an artist that speaks spiritually, I have to be very, very clear about my energy. So I'm very silent and alone a lot.
Some of them got like whole energy, don't they?
It's not even that. I just think that people don't know anything other than to vocalize stuff, right? So it's like people speak it out, and I'm a sponge. I'm an empath. So I'm like, oh my God, David is so sad. I got to go deal with that. Like, so I'm now I'm pulled into whatever you have going on, and I love my friends.
So you feel it when someone.
I feel like I'm immediately crying when somebody's like, "What did he do?" I said, "Oh, I said, "No, I got to finish this. I got to finish this paying. But when I get off this phone, we going 3-way. We go, So I'm an action person. Don't call me complaining if you're not trying to do something. Like my sister wanted to transform her house for a few months. I was like, when you gonna buy the stuff for the closet? So Monday, I put on me a jogging suit. I said, I'm picking you up. We're going to Target. We all the way in Cartersville. We went all the way, we went to 4 different Target. I said, no, we're doing it today because I think because I saw my father die the way he did, I look at time as quick. Wow. Like I was just talking to him. Yeah. Dad, what y'all mean? Like, no, I said, no, he just had a smoothie. He's fine. They're like, no, you need to call everybody you know. I said, what? I was just talking to this. What do you mean? Like time is, and so when I think about time, we just cannot be wasting it. Like I just don't have time to waste. Like y'all are wasting my time. So with dating, what? It's just waste of time. Yeah. Nice guy, somebody will love you. I can't do it. Drive around to the next window. And so it's talking about life is like a whole big game of speed dating, but like with opportunities. You gotta just jump and move and like, all right, next, I like you. Let me get your cell phone number. Don't leave. Okay, cool. You don't leave. I like this brand. Because even brands, right after the George Floyd era, all these brands were, you're a black girl. Black girl said, no, you just trying to put a Band-Aid on y'all raggedy business. But again, the good stuff stuck. The good companies stuck around. They're still rocking with, and I think the biggest thing too was putting the right people in position, right? These companies weren't just trying to give black opportunities. They were putting black leadership for people, and those are the companies that stuck, and that the opportunities. Like I just had a partnership with Coach, and I have such a great relationship with the manager. I'm about to have my own Coach bag.
Is that the bag? Is that the bag? Is that what it's gonna look like? No,
that was a prototype that I did for myself, that I bought myself and showed them, and they're like, "Oh, we want to do that." Oh wow! So I bought that on faith and painted it and took it to the store.
You took it to the store?
Yes.
And said what?
That we need to do these. So they reached out to me blindly on social. They emailed me, hey, we have an in-store opportunity. This is at this point, this is my 5th time doing it as of last week. We don't really know how well this will do. Let's just try it out. So I went and bought my own Coach bags and painted them and brought them with me to the store. They're like, well, where is this from? I was like, just bought it, this whole thing, right? And they're like, this is so amazing. So I'm on social kind of creating my own buzz. All the slots filled up like in 30 minutes. All the people wanted to come get these purses painted. Wow. Because I painted it and put it on social. And now, literally, when I went last week, they had no walk-ins were available because everybody called in to get an appointment.
Goodness gracious.
And so now we're like, how can we make this a national thing? So now we're in talks to do more. But because I had the faith to paint my own bag and to build a relationship and to be, transparent, like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And the brand itself has just like ballooned into like another behemoth, like gotten cool with the marketing manager. But relationships are how I've sustained myself. Yeah. I'm here because of relationship, not because of anything else, right? Yeah. And so I build relationships with people in leadership, not just with the brand. Yeah. It's the people that are at the brands.
Amazing. Hey, give her a round of applause. This is amazing. Melissa, thank you for coming back. And this is a real moment for me too, because I'm taken back to when we did the interview, and I didn't see all of this. Well, I wasn't even thinking podcast, or I wasn't like thinking. No, we were just trying to sell out tickets to the conference, right? And that was
true.
it. So
and you were in an empty warehouse. It was like an empty-ish. The mics weren't working right. It took about 20 minutes to get started. Like, hold on, let me see it. Cause you were the technician.
Come on, man. Tell them.
Going to the back.
Tell them.
You like, hold on, this your mic on? I don't really think it worked, David. Can you hear me?
Tell them.
We'll just share this one mic.
Man.
Yeah. It was literally like.
Yeah. I think we had like lapel mics at that point, and it was there's a moment for me to see, what is possible. And maybe the podcast blew up because you were first, and that's a part of your numbers.
I really think it's true. Because, so like when I bought my mom the car, let's say it was 20,000, 30,000, right? Just hypothetically. The first deal I landed in the new year was almost the exact amount of the car. Like in January. Bought the car in December. So when you sow on good ground, you'll never have to worry about anything. Like you believed in me and I believed in you, and that was like early, right? And when you believe in something at the inception with no strings attached, anything that happens after that moment is going to be great. Like God will blow your mind from the beginning when you just believe. It's like when you have a baby, like, I don't know what this baby going to be. It might be Martin, it might be Malcolm, I don't know. Or it might be Melissa, right? It's like you just blindly pour into something. And my favorite plant that I have is a bamboo. And watering this thing, putting the soil on it, trying to trust God that it's going to grow. Nothing's happening for years. And then it shoots up 6 feet, seemingly overnight. But nobody saw the 4 years of me putting dirt on it, watering it, putting the pebbles around it, talking to it, playing jazz. Like, all right, you going to grow for mama? All right. And then you come home. What in the hell? Like, it's hitting the light. It's like, oh my God.
Wow.
The bamboo grows out of nowhere. And so my life is a bamboo. Like I believe that I am a band. Like that's, if I had to be a plant, that's what I would be. Because for so many years, people didn't see what I saw. People didn't see what we saw. Yeah. 2018, they said, "Child, he doing a little podcast. He don't want to go home to his family. He trying to do a sheep paint because she don't want to deal with not dating." And now look at us on billboards. Look at us on conferences. Look at us with families. Choosing how we want happiness to look like. Because we believed in our bamboo. We believed in that seed early. And so I believe that this is yet only the beginning. We're going to be oak trees from acorns, and God will just continue to grow. And 5 years from now, we'll have even more kids running around the studio. We'll have even more bands with our faces on them outside. And we'll be able to show people not only what money can do, but what God can do.
Yeah, but
with one belief.
Man, thank you. Man, do me a favor. Please let everybody know how they can contact you, how they can support you.
Yes.
All that kind of stuff, and then close us out with a word of wisdom. You gave us mad wisdom.
Okay, like word of prayer. Everybody hears. You can reach me very easily. I'm very Googleable. I say that confidently. There are several pages, but it's Melissa A. Mitchell. And my social is ABL Creations. It's ABEILLE Creations. And that's about it. And I think the word of wisdom from me would be to start and to keep going. And whatever's supposed to stick will stick. And whatever's not supposed to stick will fall off.
Listen, can't close it out no better than that, man. Do yourself a favor, man. Go support Melissa. Get some art, okay? Get some apparel support, because she is an extremely genuine person. And everything she does comes from a very genuine place. She's never been a money hungry, money grab, like I'm doing this for, some sort of clout or recognition. I know that she really, really does all that she does because she loves it. If it don't feel right, she ain't going to do it. So make sure you support. And also do yourself a favor, go get you some social proof, meaning go build something. But it's your obligation to come back to the community and teach them how you did what you did. It's the only way our community grows. All right, we out of here. Peace.
Yay!
If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're going to like this one, maybe even more. Click it right now.